Thank you, Warren, Jason, and David. Southeast Asia may be in the limelight at the moment, but of course, Greater China will always get its fair share of attention from investors. And as China's focus on building and upgrading its infrastructure, we're also seeing the emergence of smart cities across China. I'd be very interested to see the current state of affairs for smart cities rollout in China and how we're able to integrate technology into our urban lives. Let us welcome Benson Tam, Chairman and founder of Venturous Group, who will tell us more about this exciting topic.
Hello, everyone. It's a sunny day out there, and I'm Benson. Benson Tam, founder, chairman of Venturous Group, China's first city tech group. And today we have a fascinating story for you, talking about how to make cities much, much smarter. Think about it. Cities are probably the biggest pain point for humanity right now. By 2050, something like 7 billion people will be living in one. The congestion, the pollution, the very high prices, everything is a huge challenge. If you just think about the carbon dioxide emission, 70% comes from cities. If you think about the waste, 50% come from the cities. These are, shall we say, challenges of this generation, pain points. And this is something that smart cities as a solution is already quietly being built in China. Not 10 years later, but now, but 10 years ago, they started doing this. Today, something like 800 cities, towns, districts are already quietly adding in the new technology that can make us work, live, play much better. What are we talking about when we talk about smart cities? You must have heard about 5G, that's part of it. AI, that's part of it. Internet of Things, the sensors. What you may not have heard of is some of the 10 verticals that are here. The technologies, for example, augmented reality, so-called AR, that Apple and Huawei and Google are all working furiously on. You may not have heard about digital twin. This will be the intelligence that we put into buildings and districts and cities. You may not have heard about, some of the things like quantum computing, things like advanced manufacturing, robotics in the warehouse. All of this will form an integrated, complex technology whole that serves the people. And that's why if you really want to imagine what the smart city is like, then think about a programmable city where everything that you need in the city, in your office, in your home will be from your remote control. Your phone will be your city remote control. Or another way of saying is that we will be putting the whole city at your pocket, programmable at your service. And in order to do this, this is not easy because you need governments, businesses, and individuals all working together. And that's why we say that this is the challenge and this is the opportunity of this decade or two. So how big is this? Very big. By next year, in China alone, if we only talk about the 800, it's already a $4 trillion emerging market. It's huge, okay? And partly because of all the technology we're putting in, the population, which is huge that we're covering, and also the key performance targets, the quality of life improvements that we're talking about, environmental, health, convenience, safety, you name it, it's all there. It's all part of it, and it's all for you. Now, again, let's make it even more tangible, which is that we already mentioned all these verticals, but there are three of the city tech that is very, very much more pronounced and infrastructural and core. Number one, smart energy. Clearly, if everything goes digital, you can imagine the heat, the energy consumption will just go, 2 levels up, and energy management will become crucial. Smart buildings. Buildings, we are putting a brain into them so that they can be much more efficient and they can be much more productive spaces. We are talking about city management. Again, smart city management is in a sense, almost like the Holy Grail, where you can have a central command center controlling many of the public services, the fire services, the traffic, everything. So these are the 3 core areas that our group has targeted, first of all. So who are we? Venturous Group. We mentioned that we are the first city tech group. What do we do? Our mission is very simple, which is to make cities smarter. What do we mean by that? Crazy smarter. That's why. Because I think, as we said, if we have all these technology helping you, it will create a space that you live in that is much more convenient and productive. How do we do it? We call it the IBO, Invest, Build, Operate. A 3-step process where we invest first into at scale, big, impactful companies with leading technologies. With these core companies, we then start to build JVs, we do M&As, we do extending to other sort of edge technologies. And finally, as a last stage, before ourselves, we go to list ourselves, we will actually operate our own subsidiaries, controlled companies within our group. So that's why we call it a 3-stage rocket that we are building right now. Okay, some people may find that is a little bit vague, so let's dive even deeper, which is to say that what we're really doing, if you look at the mission on the right, is that we are creating and investing and operating group of companies that focus entirely on city tech that will form the underlying infrastructure for smart cities, which will then become the centers of digital economy. And these infrastructure will together form what I call the city internet. This city internet is the next generation internet after the mobile internet. And if you think you saw a lot of opportunities, 5 to 8 years. That's who we are, and that's why we do it. Now, again, telling people a little bit more tangible is that we call ourselves a group company, and effectively right now we have, as we said, the 4 must-have technology in these core companies that we have assembled in the last 2 years. Smart energy, smart buildings, smart computing, and smart city management. Each of these forms the core. And we have already taken stakes in it. We are deeply partnering with the CEO. And meanwhile, we are also invested into some of these edge city tech emerging leaders in fintech, in health tech, and so on. So this whole thing is starting to grow and build. And as we said, the final thing after we have those two is that sort of probably in another year or two, we will start to have our own operating subsidiaries. So that together forms an integrated group that will hopefully create all the technology required to form a platform that will serve the smart cities. Again, drilling down, make it more tangible, because like I said, this is not 10 years later. This is not concept. It is alive. It is in projects. And so let me very quickly take you through the three companies. Anjie Energy, okay? What have they done? Their equipment goes into all buildings, and instantly your building will save you a sixth to a third of of energy costs. Sorry, and we looked at how much that they saved in terms of carbon dioxide emission last year. 2.1 million tons. It's green. It's very green. Stone, smart computing company doing digital transformation for many of the leading companies in China, because you can't have a smart city without all the traditional economy companies digitally transforming and becoming digital companies. Thirdly, ISS Tech, now managing communities of 1 million or more in 170 cities, covering hundreds of millions of people. So this is Venturous. We are making cities smarter, greener, impacting all the citizens. And if you want to know more, please come and approach one of your UBS representatives. They know where I am. They know where they can find us, and we can have a lot more deeper conversations one-on-one. So thank you very much. I'm Benson Tam from Venturous Group. Thank you.
Thank you, Benson, for sharing with us the key verticals of smart city tech that is on the rise. It is certainly interesting that we are not that far away from putting a brain in all new buildings.